Bang, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to channel. Welcome back to some more WWE 2K19 news. I know Scott had his whole video about it. I wanted to get my whole thing on it, and I didn't do it yesterday due to being out, and I did the SmackDown discussion late, so I just decided to go ahead and talk about it today. So most of you probably already know what you're about to hear, but I have 2 cents and on the whole thing. Quick. Look. I'm so professional. I did not even. What's the name? Well, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to react, and I probably should have my camera on for this, to a couple of videos. First, to the WWE 2K19 trailer for the Showcase mode. Showcase mode, if you guys don't know, you guys should know by now, is making its return to WWE 2K19, and I, for one, am happy about it. I know people want GM mode and all that, and believe me, I hear you. I want that too, but you get something else different other than my career in universe and exhibition. So, got something else. So let's look at the WWE 2K19 Daniel Bryan Showcase mode official trailer. It's also linked in the description, by the way.
Trust me, I don't want to be doing anything. The truth is, I've been wrestling since I was 10 years. What Daniel Bryan knows is he fights for his dreams. I have loved this in a way that fight for your dreams, fight for your dreams. It is with the heavy heart. And you fight for your dreams in the utmost sadness. Your dreams will fight for you. I officially announced my retirement. Will Daniel Bryan compete in a WWE ring again?
Some in-game stuff a little bit. Well, there's the official trailer for the WWE 2K. I already had it. We already done that. So there's the trailer for the Daniel Bryan 2K showcase. They did another video. IGN did WWE 2K19, the return of Daniel Bryan showcase, and after that, I'll read an article from IGN that they put out after this was made. So let's look at that. I got to link that in the description, but oh well, it's all right.
Interesting, delicious, even with nothing on.
Okay, sorry about that. But we're gonna react to the IGN video, the return of Daniel Bryan showcase footage, and see what we can kind of point out right there, and then I'll read the article from IGN to let you guys know what is up, and then that will wrap it up.
I've had it easy. I've had injuries. I was released twice, and just when I had scratched and clawed my way to the top, my in-ring career was over. I could have sat at home, satisfied with what I accomplished. But I decided that's not how I wanted my story to end. I wanted to show myself, my family, anyone who's gone through adversity in life, you need to take on whatever challenges you face. Fight for your dreams. Look it up and get the Bryan bandwagon.
I hope they have like a cutscene in game wise of Daniel Bryan doing the Takeover Raw thing. That'd be so fantastic. Return of Daniel Bryan.
February 8th, 2016, my home state of Washington. I said goodbye to everything I worked for and dreamed of. It is with a heavier heart and the utmost sadness that I officially announce my retirement. I have loved this in a way that I have never loved anything else. And for that, I'm grateful. After my retirement, I had to step away from WWE for a while. I needed some space.
You got velocity.
How do you do that? Good thing. I don't think you could have taken much more of that. You said reminding him that he's
Make for a suplex.
back in control of Cena. Right back to the arm. Great strategy. Weaken the more powerful Cena by taking away one of his arms.
So, I'm gonna. I kind of went back a little bit, my bad. But one thing that I'm noticing right here is we've got the Velocity Arena. We've got Bryan Danielson. We don't have Daniel Bryan. This is not this. Those that don't know what I'm talking about, this isn't Bryan Danielson. This is Daniel Bryan. This is Bryan Danielson. Whenever he came into WWE for a short little bit of time and had a Velocity match with John Cena, actually. Probably should link the video I'm looking at in the description somewhere at least. I didn't even save the changes. Oh my god. You guys might need to refresh if you want to see the trailer in the description. I'm sorry. I did not realize that. Oh, damn it. Hold on. Let me look at the chat real quick to see if people... I cannot believe I forgot about that. Oh, damn it. Nice, Belt. No, make the stream then. So let's go. We've got Cena attire from like 03 with the yellow pants. We got the Bryan Danielson attire from the early days in wrestling. We have the Velocity Arena. We haven't had Velocity as an arena since '07? 06 or 07, I think. It's been a bit, so.
Back in control of Cena. Right back to the arm. Great strategy. Weaken the more powerful Cena by taking away one of his arms. Right, Cena doing good enough, not taking any unnecessary risks. Here against John Cena. I'm just looking to control and neutralize the bigger man. Cena though back to his feet. Bryan continues to work on the arm, but now Cena tests some strikes, and you don't want to get into a power battle with John. Absolutely not.
We got next scene I've got right here. If you guys seen the IGN video, you know what I'm talking about. I'll put it in the description if you haven't. We've got Night of Champions, the Tag Team Championship matchup, Team Hell No versus Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. And I think what they're going to be showing here is the ending of that match. So that's two matches that we know already. We know Cena, Bryan Danielson from Velocity, and the Tag Team Championship matchup at Night of Champions 2012.
Then it kicks it across the ring. And Daniel Bryan going to put Cody Kingston away. For the tag team titles. Kingston's in trouble. Kenny are in peril. The big red machine making the law fly to the top.
Which, by the way, graphics seem a bit the same. A little bit brushed up. A little bit brushed up. Like, I can tell the difference that it brushed up a little bit, but, of course, you know, you didn't really expect a whole lot of change. We got another one from the Street Fight with Randy 1, so that's 3 matches.
with a kendo stick. Orton wearing the weapon on Daniel Bryan. Just what the WWE's Apex Predator needs is a weapon. All perfectly legal.
Yeah, this was when before the Authority.
Seems to be preparing to go to that place. Randy Orton is focused. Randy Orton could be closing in on victory. What is the RKO? No, that's why I'm calling. Shoulders are down. Orton kicks out. Not a kick by Daniel Bryan. Now kendo stick in hand. And unloading on Orton. Bryan returning.
Full on G yes lock and make him tap out. Meters seem to be a little bit different as well. Well, no, a little bit different. There's not a whole lot of difference, but you can tell that it looks a bit different. There's a couple of like little meters beside both of them, and I wonder what those mean. But we got a Randy one model from 2013 and a Bryan model from 2013. And
It's over. The Viper getting absolutely pounded right now.
apparently that's going to be a new OMG moment we could use for Daniel Bryan. Use the kendo stick in the yes lock, which...
Daniel Bryan using the kendo stick for leverage. Taps out.
So I think we found out a new OMG moment right there. That's cool. Like OMG moments like with like evolving weapons and all that. I think that's always been missing from the games.
Daniel Bryan with one of the biggest victories of his career. We knew it was going to be a physically grueling battle between Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, and Daniel Bryan earned this. Gotta give it up to him. Gotta give it up to Daniel Bryan.
Almost at the end of the video, by the way.
Daniel Bryan's going to be feeling the effects of this one for some time. Orton offering a sign of respect. That's what you love to see. Two great superstars, two great warriors displaying their mutual respect for each other.
And I think it just ends on that. All right, so that was the IGN video, and afterwards I can link it down in the description below if you guys want. But now I'm going to read the article from IGN, but first I'm going to look at the comments. Hey, Scott, what's up? IGN posted WWE 2K Showcase is returning for WWE 2K19 with this year's story-driven campaign focusing on none other than the WWE career of Daniel Bryan, who returned to the ring this past March after being forced to prematurely retire 2 years ago. For this awesome announcement, IGN and other outlets were visited in Aberdeen, Washington, the childhood home of Daniel Bryan, where we headed back to the high school with Bryan himself. At Aberdeen High, in the middle of the gym, he spoke to us about being the focus of WWE 2K19's showcase. A quote from Daniel Bryan, "This is amazing because this touches a different audience," he explained. "It's a newer audience. I'm fascinated by how people become wrestling fans, and I've been introduced to a lot of different ways that people became wrestling fans. I was introduced to wrestling through magazines from a friend. My parents weren't wrestling fans, so I didn't grow up watching it. I had a friend in first grade who came over to my house who had a backpack of wrestling magazines, and he showed them to me. And as someone who was fascinated with reading at a young age, I found myself entranced with these pictures of these wild men. But now we have people who start playing the video game while not being wrestling fans," Bryan continued. "And then because they play the game, they become interested in the characters and start watching wrestling. We also have people who watch Total Bellas or Total Divas who have an interest in watching wrestling, and then they get interested in these characters and want to start watching wrestling. I am very grateful for the showcase because I think this will introduce my story to not only newer wrestling fans who will get the game because they're wrestling fans, but also people who aren't wrestling fans but will get the game because they just like wrestling video games. They'll be able to play through this and think, wait, this guy wrestled John Cena in 2003, and then it doesn't show him again until 2010. What was he doing for those 7 years? So I think that's pretty cool. From his 2003 Velocity match with John Cena to a no DQ match against Randy Orton, check out over 6 minutes of footage from the showcase, the return of Daniel Bryan here, including Daniel Bryan talking about his own career. We have, of course, gone through that. Taking a tour of Aberdeen High School, former stomping ground for Bryan, along with, over a decade earlier, Levita's Kurt Coben and Christ Novelsik. I'm sorry if I pronounced those names wrong. One can help wonder what Bryan Danielson was like here in Bob Count country. I was very shy, very introverted, Bryan said. I had a very small but close group of friends. I didn't party at all. I never had a drink in my entire life. I'm just that sort of person. I played a lot of sports, but I wasn't good at any of them. I always chased experiences. Like I wanted to play football, but no real interest in winning games. I wasn't built for that. I love practice, which is weird. Which is a weird thing. If we played a game, I'd all of a sudden get really nervous. But because there is a small town, and they love football. Sometimes there'd be 2,000 people at a football game for a town that size. That's incredible. It just made me really nervous. Of course, now Bryan can go out and perform intensely in front of 80,000. Yeah, and in my underwear, he laughed. And it doesn't bother me. The dream is within reach. Back then, during high school, despite trying his hand at almost every sport available, Bryan just wanted to become a wrestler. At some point, people grow out of that, and I never grew out of it. For a long time, though, I'd say it, but it was just a reflex. Because wrestlers at the time were these really big guys, and then there was this very specific instance that I remember back in 1996. WCW put on a pay-per-view called the Great American Bash, and I saw Dean Malenko versus Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship. Dean Malenko was 5'6", and Rey was 5'3", 135 pounds at the time. At least that's what they listed him as. He could have been lighter. They had the crowd eating out of their hands, and they were so much smaller than I ever thought a wrestler could be. That's when the world of wrestling was expanding, and at least in my mind. And I started getting videotapes from Japan and Mexico, and I started understanding what the world of wrestling could be. And it didn't involve having to be 6'6" plus or 250 pounds plus. After that, there was no reason why I shouldn't at least try this. A helping hand. Despite seeing smaller guys as wrestlers, Bryan still needed that extra push to get going. My English professor for both my junior and senior year was Dr. Carter, and he had a very unique perspective on life in the sense that he, after high school, joined the Peace Corps for several years. And when he came back, he realized he wanted to be a teacher. So he told not just me, but the whole class that if we didn't know what we wanted to do or not, to not feel pressured or to go to college because that's what people expected us to do. He said, go out and explore the world, and in doing so, we find what we love. Then if we wanted to go to college or needed to go to college, we could come back and do it. But he very much encouraged me because I always write these papers about professional wrestling. One time I wrote a paper about this Japanese tag team matchup. I had to write about a piece of art that I loved, so I did this tag team match, and he wrote in the margins, clearly you love this. I'd never seen pro wrestling as an art, but now I see it as that. Having been back in the ring for almost 5 months now, and The Miz on the horizon at this Sunday SummerSlam pay-per-view, is Bryan settling any new career goals for himself? Yes, but they're creative goals, he explained. So they're not along the lines of, okay, time to main event WrestleMania 35. It's not like that. Creating goals like that are very difficult in WWE and can often leave you disappointed because you don't have control over a lot of things. The one thing I do have control over is my performance. And so I have artistic goals I'm trying to reach in places I'd like to go with my wrestling and my character. And even that sometimes is going up against Creative Machine and what they want for you versus what you want for yourself. That's a contrast, whirlwind and back and forth trade-off and whatnot. So I do have these types of goals, but they're not main eventing WrestleMania or winning the Rumble or things you don't have a say in. Speaking of the Miz, Bryan's big part of this weekend. Could we possibly get a 2K showcase in the future for him? So, Bryan smiled. As much as I dislike him, I think he would be a very interesting showcase mode, especially coming from the real world. This is a reality TV star who started on the real world talking about professional wrestling, and then he actually trained himself. He went to a school in Southern California, and then when WWE saw he was serious about it, they scooped him up. But he was not respected a lot in the locker room at first. When you talk to him, he'll tell you that he had to change outside of the locker room because they'd kick him out. Part of it has to do with his personality, which is part of the reason I want to punch him in the face. But he has a very unique story as to how he got to where he is. He's had a lot of ups and downs, even from the time when he was accepted in the locker room. He main evented WrestleMania, and since then has had these tremendous up and down swings, and those are interesting things to look at when conceiving a showcase mode. Anything afterwards? The return of Daniel Bryan features. Now, these are the features for the showcase mode. 15 Daniel Bryan video interview packages with a combined runtime of more than 25 minutes. 20 story-centric video cutscenes. 11 historical matches along with a 1 surprise match for a total of 12 matches. 9 historic arenas including Velocity and WrestleMania 30. 11 different Daniel Bryan character models with each having unique appearances and movesets, 8 new entrances, and 11 new victory scenes. So we're getting 11 Daniel Bryan models. Jesus Christ. Coming into 19, we knew we were bringing Showcase back. 2K creative director Lionel Jinx. Where are you at with more news on 2K19? Damn it. The fans were loud, and we were like, you know what? They're right. Let's bring this back. We toyed with the idea of bringing it back on 17, but we honestly felt like there was no one we could focus on that would do more justice than bringing it back after hiatus. After the so-called showcase and then doing the DLC after that, we were in a bind. Brock Lesnar was on the cover that year, and we were like, okay, do we do a showcase on Brock? But then there were certain people on our roster who were cool with WWE at the time, like, say, Kurt Angle. Could we really tell Brock's story without these key people in matches? We kind of broke down the matches that we'd want, and it just didn't feel right because the full roster wasn't there. We scrapped it, and it was a hard decision, but we had to make that choice based on everything else we'd sign up for. But if there was a person we were considering, it was Daniel Bryan. But at the time, we didn't know where his status would be. We just had rumors going on. Was he retiring for good, or was he coming back, or was he leaving and going to the Indies? We didn't know what the heck was going on, so we decided not to touch it. Last year, Jinx and his team decided to go for it and come up with a showcase for Daniel Bryan regardless of Daniel's future. We talked about doing a fictional story even, like a fictional comeback story. But then what if he does come back for real? And then it's weird because he already faced this guy, but we're telling you this strange alternative thing. So we put together a package of our favorite matches. It all felt right except for the ending. We didn't have one yet. Would he still be the GM? Would he leave and wrestle somewhere else? Would he still be cool with WWE? So we pitched it, and WWE thought it was a great idea. But they didn't let us know what the actual future was. So we got to work on it, and then when you know it, he announced his return, and we were so happy. We were like, boom, we have an ending. So there you go. That was the IGN article. back to the features real quick. 15 Daniel Bryan video interview packages with combined runtime of more than 25 minutes, so almost half an hour. 20 story-centric video cutscenes. 11 historical matches and a surprise matchup for a total of 12. 9 historic arenas, including Velocity and WrestleMania 30. 11 Daniel Bryan character models with unique appearances and movesets. 8 of them are going to have their own entrance, and 11 of them are all of 11 of the models are going to have victory cutscenes. Now, before I wrap this up, I'm going to try to guess all the matches. So we have John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. Bryan and Kane versus Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. Those are the 3 confirmed. I'm gonna say both the WrestleMania 30 matches are gonna be in. Both of them. Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H. I'm gonna say his US title match against The Miz is gonna be in. I'm gonna say also his return match is gonna be in for WrestleMania 34. I am also going to put out there the cage match for the World Heavyweight Championship with Daniel Bryan and Big Show and Mark Henry. I'm going to say there's going to be Cena and Bryan for the WWE title. I think there is going to be maybe the WrestleMania 28 match. Although I heard that was confirmed. The 11th match, I think, will be maybe his last match on SmackDown. That could be something that they could put in there. And because they have Tyson Kidd and Cesaro in WWE, and that would make sense to put that in there. And then the surprise match, I think it's going to be between the current Daniel Bryan and one of the old versions of Daniel Bryan. I think that'll be the surprise matchup that we will have. Or it could be a Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles match. Or Daniel Bryan and Rey Mysterio, even though that's happened before on Monday Night Raw. But overall, what I would think about this, I am happy Showcase Mode is back. I'm perfectly fine with them. And there really wasn't anyone else that they could have done that would have been a better choice than Daniel Bryan. You couldn't have done anyone else. It wouldn't have worked. Maybe the cage match against Wyatt. Oh, right! Wait, no, there was no cage match against Wyatt. Shit, okay. The tag team cage match, Bryan and Wyatt versus the Usos, where Bryan turns on Wyatt afterwards. Bryan Owen held us up. That could be it. That could be another match as well, I think. But it's only 11. Ooh, they should have done 15. I think 15 would have been really good in my view and could have covered those. Wyatt, Bryan at the Rumble. But who knows? But I'm happy with Showcase Mode being back. I cannot wait. That will definitely be streamed on twitch.tv/the NWS channel. Definitely be streamed on there. And yeah, what I also would like, even if this is like just like a in-game cutscene, I would like them. I think this would be really good if they did it. The Raw takeover thing where Bryan had a bunch of fans in the ring hijacking it, so he got him to get him a match with Triple H at WrestleMania. I think that would be really good if they incorporated it like with the 2K19 footage in the game. That would be really, really cool in my view. That would be, I would pop for that, honestly. Actually, yeah, the cage match thing was shown. So I think the cage match with Bryan and Wyatt versus the Usos will be in the game. So take whichever match out you think wouldn't be in there. But that's good to do, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for much more WWE 2K19 news from me or from Scott, whichever the case may be. The tournament, I'm going to go ahead, and since I've already talked about WWE 2K19, I'm going to go and record the matches I need to do today. And so hopefully you will get the tournament. Was it great? The Yes movement is still a great movement, Scott. It never stopped, even when Bryan retired. It never stopped. I'm going to go on and record the matches for WWE 2K18, the championship tournament, and go from there when it comes to making that. But think that is going to do, guys. Like I said, like, comment, share, and subscribe for much more. And tap the little bell so you never miss no bullet. But guys, remember, we are a group of wrestling fans who love the art of professional wrestling, whether it's WWE, TNA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, CMWL, Lucha Underground, or some other random show in some indie promotion. Doesn't matter. But we don't feed the bullshit. We don't play all nice. If you're good, praise you. If not, you're good, criticized. Point is, we shoot straight from the head. But for now, guys, I must bid you all adieu. Goodbye. Mwah, and everybody have a good day. Bang!